Hey, Jenny, what's up?
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Excellent.
Except for this situation.
I'm great. Otherwise, I wouldn't be calling you. So what's up?
Yeah. So I'm kind of struggling with an old tenant who we had living on our property. She lived with us for 3.5 years and in our guest house, and we live kind of rurally outside of town. And I gave her an eviction notice. I gave her like a 90-day eviction notice so that she could find a place to live. And she ended up eventually finding a place on like day 88. Moved in with this person, and then she started texting me messages about 2 weeks after she found this place that they were accusing her of being an alcoholic, and that's why I evicted her, and stealing. But they were trying to take her pain pills, and her texts and the arguments that she was having with this new person that she was living with just kind of escalated, and eventually she texted me about a month after that she was being evicted from that place, and now she's living in hotels, motels, and running out of money. And I know that she without asking, she wasn't asking for my help, but I know that she was asking for my help. And then she did start asking me for money and for help, and I just didn't want to. My husband and I evicted her for reasons, and I struggle with the guilt of knowing that she really has no one to turn to, but I don't want to be the person that she continues to rely on, and I don't really know what to do, and if I should just keep ignoring her, which is kind of what I've done, or if I should do something to help her.
You have a great heart, and I'm grateful for landlords out there like you that give people tons of extra grace when things get sideways. Because she was late for a long time, wasn't she?
She was an alcoholic, and she was very dependent on me, and it became too much. Like it got to a point where I was really angry and resentful of her in my house, or in my space. And so, that's why I had to give her notice.
Yeah. And you chose guilt over resentment. I don't want to hate you, and I don't want to hate coming to my own home.
Yeah.
And so you need to go get the help that you need. This sounds like a callous question, but it's just so rudimentary.
Yeah. No.
What is prohibiting her from going to a local organization there in Portland to get help with her addiction challenges? What's preventing her from getting a job? What's preventing her from seeking local services?
So I don't. Yeah, she is on disability. She has like some kind of back injury, but she does not have a vehicle. We had offered at one point to help her purchase a vehicle. We would purchase an inexpensive vehicle, and she could make payments to us if that was the case. I think she gets about $1,200 on disability, and then she's on food stamps.
Okay.
She kind of thinks that she can't work. I did give her, at one point I sent her a message and was like, I can't, Jeanette, I can't help you. Here's some the crisis help,
there you go. Yeah.
hotline. Maybe
local
they can
resources.
help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think she thinks that she has a problem. But I'm the one who, because she didn't have a car, and we literally live 40 minutes outside of town with no services between us. There's no gas station. There's no grocery store or anything. So she was very dependent on me. I picked up she would order, groceries from Walmart, and I would pick them up for her. And I would pick up her 2 cases of wine every 2 weeks. and I would go to the liquor store for her. And
Jenny, you participated then. You played along.
yes, I did. And then I got to the point where I thought, well, I was judging her definitely, and that, like
as you're picking it up from the store.
Yes. And I think too, I know that I have guilt about it too, because she, I tried to take her into my community, our neighbors and family and friends, and she would come over for, my kids' birthdays, and, she would come over on Christmas because she lived in our little guest house. And I just became done with her. And I mean, I lied to her about why she needed to move out. I told her that my mother-in-law was going to be spending more time up there and, needed the guest house. But that's partly because eviction laws in Oregon are very, very strict. They're very lenient to the tenant. And that was an easy out, and it's semi-partially true, but not fully.
I at the end of the day, what I don't want you to do is to begin to slippery slope some of these things, like buy alcohol for someone is struggling with alcohol, to make trips for somebody that you're just angry the whole way you're making the trip. Invite somebody into your family's life that is going to cause issues and make you upset about the whole event, and then at the end of the day, end up lying about why I'm kicking you out. I don't want you to become somebody that you lose respect for.
Right.
In the process of not just trying to avoid a few really hard conversations. Because what happens is that loss of respect you have for yourself gets channeled and dropped onto her, and that's not really fair.
Right.
She's hurting, she's struggling, she needs more help than you're able to provide her, both cognitively, physically, physiologically. She needs some help, and it's beyond your scope of ability to help. And but all the other animosity and hatred and frustration and just all that stuff, not hatred, that was probably strong, but all that stuff is it's you trying to avoid having a few really direct, hard conversations with somebody that probably admittedly can't hear those conversations.
Yeah.
So my in many ways she's more than a tenant, because in many ways you function as a caretaker.
Right.
And you also kind of went past the caretaker role and invited it into Christmas, into family, into friends events and things, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, very much.
I'm saying this with no context for how she can hear things, okay? I'm assuming she can hear stuff. She is just a person struggling with her disability. She's struggling with some sort of low-level emotional disorders. She's struggling with alcohol abuse. I think that person warrants sitting down at a coffee shop, not at your house, and saying, I am telling you I can no longer help. Here is a sheet where I've printed off all the resources. I'm going to block your number, and I am going to hope that you go get the help and care that you need. It's exceeded my ability to help you.
Okay.
And that might be a terribly hard conversation to have. And I have a firm principle on my own that I don't say things to people who can't hear them. So if she can't hear it, if she'll just blow right by it and be like, hey, so what time are you coming to pick me up for? Then maybe not responding is the correct path, or calling local services and asking them to do a well check on her is the local path.
Right.
But I that's going to be for you to gauge and judge. But all that to say is you don't owe a former tenant continued support and services indefinitely. And I don't know that it's honest to call her just a tenant, because you invited her into much more of your life than just a tenant.
Yeah.
How does that sit
Definitely.
with
No,
you?
I agree with that, and I think I know that's where I kind of struggle, because I've come to the realization that she saw me as a friend and somebody that she could rely on, and I blurred that line with that. And I think and I don't personally don't think that she is really open to hearing anything. I mean, she is very much a victim mentality of that. But
then, if that's the case, if that's the case, if that's the lens with which she sees the world, then you already know going into this that her opinion of you has already been shaped. You are another in a long line of people who have victimized her. So you avoiding that victim judgment that she stamps on the world, I mean, why would you avoid that? It's already happened.
Right.
And so enter into the conversation, enter into whatever your next move is with your head held high, and be a person of integrity and treat her with dignity and respect. And treating somebody with dignity and respect doesn't mean that you have to support them indefinitely, forever, amen. It means you have to know the scope of your limits. I can't do anymore. I'm unable to do anymore. I don't want to do anymore. I gave you 3 years, and this is as much as I can do, right? But you have to make that call for yourself. For whatever reason, I take this for what it is. I have just a thing in my guts, like in my chest, that handing her a list of resources to say, these are some people who can actually help you with some of the challenges you have. I don't have any challenges. That's great. But I'm unable to help you any further. And so I'm asking you, don't send me any of your texts about midnight terrors. I want you to call this number, the authorities. Don't send me any more texts about somebody trying to poison you. If somebody's trying to poison you, you call 911. I can't help any other way. If somebody kicks you out, here's the local housing authority, and on and on and on. And she might not be able to hear it. Cool. You can mail that letter if that's appropriate. I don't even know if she has a mailbox address now that I said that. But I feel like you invited her in. I think letting her know I'm showing you the door now in whatever way appropriate, whatever way she can hear that, feels like the right, honorable thing to do. And I do know that it's going to be very hard to do that. But it feels like the right thing to do, other than just ghosting somebody or just not responding. Unless, of course, that person can't understand a response, or a response is not heard in the way the response was intended. It's an open invitation to reignite the entire fire. So that's a sticky mess, Jenny. Thank you so much for just walking through it with me and thinking through it with me. And let's do the next right thing. And don't ever lose yourself. And this is not just for you, it's for all of us. May we never lose ourselves by trying to avoid a hard conversation or avoid a confrontation. May we never lose ourselves, our integrity, our dignity, our respect for each other and for ourselves, piece by piece by piece by piece.